Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Chai with Gary. United finally won at home. It's 3-2 against
We won
Arsenal.
the Banter Club trophy. We won
Yes.
it.
Oh,
Who's
God.
the bigger Banter Club now?
Oh, my God.
Chai, if there's one team I don't want to lose to, it's
Yeah.
fucking Arsenal.
And
Okay?
thank God for it.
Thank
I
fuck for
didn't
that.
I didn't care how the result came, but it just came. It's good. It's good.
It's good.
But
Oh,
lots to
God.
talk about the show tonight. We'll talk about the match. We'll go through Carrick leaving, Ragnick's first press conference. There's a bit of euphoria at United. I don't know if it's driven by the change of
Uh,
manager, the results in the last few games. I don't know. Let's talk through each one of them. First of
yeah.
all, Gary, how do you see the game? I think we had some strong opinions about the starting lineup itself when
Oh.
we both were chatting at 7 o'clock in the morning. I,
Chai, I tell you what. Okay. So Carrick's been in charge for what, 3 games now. First two
yeah,
games completely blew me off the park with his starting lineup. Never
yeah,
predicted it. Arsenal, we come back to McFred.
yes, and
Sancho's all of a
Maguire,
sudden, Maguire, all of a sudden he's there now.
he's there.
Sancho's on the right, on the left wing, Rashford on the right, which made no sense to me. Ronaldo starting up front, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
And I don't know, man. I just had a bad feeling, when I saw the lineup. I know, yesterday I said we were going to win 2-0. Put my chest out. I said we were going to win 2-0. Then I saw this starting lineup. I was like, oh, God, here we go again. McFred
yeah.
special. um,
But you know what?
but
Let's talk about the game, right? I think
yeah,
Arsenal played a better system. I think they looked like a better team, better squad, better coached outfit. I think at
yeah,
least till about when Ronaldo put the penalty away. I think they were a better looking team. They had obviously threats. And look, it was I think 3 minutes. They had 4 minutes or something. They had about three corners or some shit like that, right? And it
yeah.
was it was a rapid start. They were quick off the blocks. I think we were just behind the tempo in the first half. I think.
Yeah, Chai, the first 20 minutes, we were under
Oh
enormous pressure. It was corner after corner after corner. I lost count. I think in the first 10 minutes, we considered 4 corners
yeah, I
around
would.
there. I mean, it was like
Yeah,
we were under so much pressure, and I just had this feeling. And you know how suspect we are in defense and defending corners. So it
yeah,
was just a matter of time. I was thinking to myself before we conceded.
yeah.
Yes, I think Arsenal played a lot better.
Hmm.
They were more fluid.
Hmm.
They attacked. I just think they lacked, cutting edge up front.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think if they
Auba
had
was doing
Aubameyang was pretty poor
fucking
from,
useless.
and I think even he's lost it, right? I mean, you saw I saw the Newcastle game last time, and he had a sitter right in front of goal. I think he just shot it against the point blank,
Right.
right? I think it was just
It's
piss poor. It
horrible.
was.
It's off form. But I
Mm.
wanted to ask you about the first goal. Okay, there seems to be so much controversy. People are so divided about that goal. Some
Yeah.
say it's should have been a free kick. Other people saying it's definitely a goal.
Mm.
Uh, I have to admit, when I
But
first
it's
saw
not a
the
free kick. Let's resolve that. It's
no,
not.
it's not
It's
a
never
free
a free
kick.
kick.
But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean, he's injured. He's on the floor. So
Yeah.
I mean, Fred, Fred is scoring on both sides of the field. I guess so he's tackling our
He's
keeper
tackling.
and
He was.
yeah,
I think he was given a brief. Tackle anything you can find. So
tackle
I
anything you
decided to
can
tackle the
find.
guy.
And you know what? For me, when I first saw it, I thought the sportsman-like behavior for Arsenal do is to kick the ball out. Okay,
Yeah.
keeper's down, so I was quite annoyed initially. But then I kind of thought to myself, "Hang on, why should they though?
Yeah. Why
I
should
mean,
they?
it's a goal scoring opportunity. You go for it, you take it. De Gea, God knows what he was doing on the floor. Um,
Man, he got hit in his Achilles. I think we've fallen.
Chai,
We.
stand on your. I mean, okay, it's fine. Okay, it's one of those fluke goals
Yeah.
that can go either way. The refs,
S-
yeah, I didn't see a foul in it. I mean,
I
there's no
think.
foul in it.
Um. I think the ref should have blown a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of indecision because he
Yeah.
was confused.
He puts it
He,
and he doesn't actually blow,
it's
right? It's like.
like it's not a foul. right?
It's not a
So
foul. It's not a foul.
it's
So it's
a
like
yeah, it's a goal. Okay,
it was given,
done.
right? Yeah.
I want to talk to you about the first goal that we scored.
Ah,
Okay, Bruno goal.
dude, I think the, I think Sancho deserved, or if not, was the man of the match, right? I think he put in a perform. I think it was his best performance in a United shirt to date, right? Obviously, there are levels to
Yeah,
him. I think he
yeah,
can.
yeah.
I mean, what else? The Chelsea game. Well,
Chelsea
yeah,
didn't
but
really do
Chelsea.
much. Villarreal,
Correct.
can't really consider that a tough
Correct.
opponent. I guess
So
this was his first actual test, and
and and I think he did really well. I think he's just this is his best performance in my opinion in a United
mm,
shirt. I think he did stuff that Rashford used to do a while ago, but never does
yeah,
anymore. Right?
yeah,
Something. Do I think he should have played on the right wing? Yes, but considering what he did, I think he played really well. I think it was just they cut open Arsenal in three passes. And why don't we do it more
yeah,
often? Is a question that we need to ask ourselves.
yeah. Look, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think I think the way we choose to chop and change, I think
Hmm.
brings a lot of inconsistency to the players and also to the team. I
Well,
don't understand the reason why. What was the logic behind switching the roles of Sancho and Rashford?
don't know
Con-
unless it was tactical saying.
yeah, but
I think that I can't remember the Arsenal's left back and right back. Dude. I can't. Travers
what was it? Tavares
and
and
Tavares and
Tomiyasu. Yeah,
yeah. So I
yeah.
think it was probably tactical. I think that the Tomiyasu is actually quite good going
He's
forward,
really
but
yeah.
and um, and I don't know if he had the same difference. I think he's a bit like Dallo in that sense, right? He's
Mm,
good going forward, but not so much
defensively a
in
bit
defense.
suspect.
So
Yeah,
I think it was probably strategic or tactical or whatever to put Rashford on the right wing. It
yeah.
did work for for the second goal. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, for the second goal, it did work when Rashford put the ball into Ronaldo's feet. Right, it did work.
yeah. No,
Um,
but Ronaldo was sorry. Rashford was on the right wing, so
mhm.
Tavares was meant to mark him. Was it? I think it was Tavares and Gabriel. One of them should have marked him,
Yeah,
but they
but
didn't mark him. And then
I think the second goal was a result of Dallo's quick pass to Rashford.
yeah, Dalo and
That
Teles had their
different,
best games. I think, man.
yeah.
For me, I think
Teles was a bit suspect because it was him that led to the goal that they did score,
yeah,
the
yeah.
legit one, the second
Okay,
one.
the
He was
second goal
completely
that
out
they
of
scored,
position.
Chai. I've noticed this about United, right? When we defend, for whatever reason, we are so compact in defense. Like
Yeah, I get what
we've
you
done
mean
this so
because
many
they.
times. Yeah, I
I
mean, I
think they get
understand
sucked to
that.
the centre backs, right? I
Yeah,
think
they
that's
get stuck to
where
the center backs, and then you leave a lot of gap, and then that guy has got all his acres of space to run in, put a cross in,
that
and
happened two
that's
minutes after the second half started as
yeah.
well. Martinelli found enough space to actually go down that right wing, right? And look, all this doesn't matter from tomorrow,
No,
right?
it should
From
not.
tomorrow on, all of
We
this,
say
it should
that it
not,
should not.
right? Unless and until
Yeah,
there's some hangover.
yeah,
Let's just quickly wrapping up on the game before we go into the
yeah.
next and talk about Carrick's departure and stuff like that. I think, look, overall, am I happy with the win? Of course. Ronaldo scores his 800 and 800 first goal. It's something that only superhumans can achieve. Um, there were certain performances that superseded the others. In my opinion, I think Sancho had a really good game. Rashford had a really poor one. Ronaldo was absolutely trash until he.
Chai,
Uh,
he's doing overhead kicks at the edge of the penalty box. It's a bit like the London Circus has come to town, and then you're doing overhead kicks to audition
yeah,
for it or something.
to what do you call to entertain the audience, right? I
It's
think
it's
I
ridiculous.
think it was a bit of he had a point to prove, and I think he was trying too hard in the first half, and I don't
Yeah.
think he had the legs in him to run in the first half.
No,
I
he
think he
just
was
seems
just
very slow.
winded.
Yeah.
I think he was winded, and I think at his age, when he's just played for Portugal, come back, played a few games, and then this continuous run of fixtures that we have going on, I don't think it's helping him one bit, right?
I think he's fit enough, but I think maybe the pace of the game in the Premier League is a bit harder for him to match. Because
Correct.
you look at the other leagues, where he's played in Italy and Spain and all that.
Yeah.
In terms of defenders closing you down, is not as quick as here in the Premier League.
Mm,
In Premier League,
mm,
they're on to you in the next second. And
yeah.
for him, I think because everyone around him is quick, he
Mm,
looks a lot slower
yeah.
in that respect. So, but I guess if you're scoring goals left, right, and center like you did today, who cares?
I mean, look, realistically, I think you and me would have put that ball inside the net, right? I mean, it was sublime passing, really.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's face it,
penalty.
nothing about it was quality. I'm not taking
Mm,
anything away from what he's achieved so far, but
yeah,
let's call spade a spade and say it was a tap in and it was a penalty. And for a person of his caliber, he needs to put them away. His movement in the first half was non-existent. I think his passing was piss poor. There were times where he was taking shots when he actually had to look up and see who's around. I think this has become a bloody thing in the team where takes a shot from as soon as he gets the ball, he just takes a touch and then shoots from beyond the beyond 30 yards, I think. And what are
yeah,
you doing? Just look for the
yeah.
pass.
Yeah, look, I thought he had a really poor game, and to be honest, like we were just talking in the chat as well. I mean, you got to take him off, hook him off at halftime,
Yeah.
just because he was just trying really hard, and the shots were impossible. He's trying to shoot from impossible angles, and he was really not helping the team because I saw there were instances where Bruno, Rashford, and Sancho were in better positions to take a
Yeah.
shot, and all he had to do was pass to them. But for whatever reason, he decided to shoot,
Man,
and
they were in the
yeah.
when we were leading. I think when we just scored the third goal, there were so many breakaway opportunities, and I think Lingard with the freshest pair of legs on that pitch, and then he was sprinting away with no real support because I think
Yeah,
people are just either tired, not there yet. I don't know. They're still. I'm hoping all of this will disappear from tomorrow on. But
the
very
magic
quickly, who
click.
was in my?
My man of
They
the
were.
match.
Yeah. Don't
I
say
think
Fred.
Fred. Fred.
No.
Chai, look, I'm telling you now, Fred is going to be our key player going forward this season. I 100% guarantee you.
What about Scott McTominay?
Chai, there's so many things I want to say on the stream, but I can't because yeah, just be bad. I mean, he basically all he did was pass the ball back, get the ball, pass it back, get the ball, pass it to the side, pass it back, pass it back, pass it back. Like
It's
I
just very
just don't.
surprising. I think he got himself a yellow card when he shouldn't have. I don't know why he stayed on the pitch. And look,
Yeah,
we were lucky. That's all I could say.
I really don't see how it fits into the new manager's long term plans.
Dude, you never know, right? There's always
Hmm.
that debate. And before we go and talk about Carrick in the next
Yeah,
few minutes, I think it's about player development as well. Maybe Ragnick will have a bigger
a big.
influence on their development. And who's to say? I don't care if it's McTominay. I don't care if it's Van de Beek. If they both develop at an
Yeah.
accelerated phase where they're good enough to compete. That's all I'm trying to say, right?
So so what you're telling me is McTominay is the next Ballon d'Or winner.
No, dude. I mean, we had a midfield of John O'Shea. We had a midfielder in John O'Shea, right? He played very. He's a versatile player. He'd play left back, center midfield, right wing. He'd play anywhere.
Yeah.
It's about who's directing these players and how much of influence they can.
McTominay plays as a centre back for Scotland.
Scotland, yeah,
He can't
he
even
plays on
make
the right. He plays on the right side of the three center backs. Huh?
he can't even make it to the first team's midfield position in Scotland. And you're telling me he's good enough to start for United? Come on, man.
Dude, let
That's
me actually. You bring a good point, right? There is since the quality managers have left, how many players to actually make their international teams and play in the starting lineup, right? You could even Bruno doesn't start at times.
Hmm, no.
Diego
I
Jota,
think
on the other hand, he starts more games for Portugal
oh, for sure.
than Bruno does,
Yeah.
right? So there's something there's a
I
disconnect.
look, I think personally it's I think Bruno should start for the national team. But that's another thing that I'm not going to touch today. But I think it's because of okay, you're looking at the team from the outside perspective. Okay, you're not a United fan. You look at the team. You've got to select. Uh, you got to pick your players for your national team. When you look at United and you look at the way Bruno plays, does that bring confidence to you to
I
say
mean,
that first team player, Chai? I mean, aside
okay,
from the goal, okay, let's not worry. Let's not talk about the goal. I just want to ask you about your opinion about Bruno right now.
no, dude, because okay, we're in such shambles that Bruno's performances that are mediocre shine so, in the grand scheme of things, shine so much more than what the performances around him have been, right? And he's predominantly led the team since he walked in 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago this transfer window, right? He came in December,
Mm.
January transfer window. He's pretty much lit up the Premier League on his own accord. But I think there was a system, and there was a. I think there were I wouldn't say better players, but I think there were better uh, team players rather than
Mm.
individuals who kind of supported his growth, right? But anyway,
Yeah.
as I said.
Yeah,
No,
let's
look,
maybe we'll just
let's
wrap
let.
up the game now and then we'll yeah, I
Yeah,
think look, end of the day, solid 3 points. It was a lot closer than we initially thought. But end of the day, 3 points is 3 points. We are 2 points behind Arsenal now. We've got a good chance now to catch up with the rest of the pack. Obviously, we've gotten past all our tough games now. We've got some good fixtures coming about until December. I think, sorry, until March. I think we've got some pretty winnable games coming up. And we should win, and we should get top four hopefully. But
look, it's
mm,
yes, but we'll address that. We'll address that when we come to it. But
yeah,
quickly, before we actually talk about Ralf Ragnick and his press
mm,
conference and the style of play that we'll probably hope to see, Carrick, I think that was a
mm,
shock when he did say it was his last involvement with the club. But
yeah.
at least for now, how did you take it? Do you think he should have?
Um, I look for me. Yes, it was a bit of a shock, but I expected him to leave either way. I look honestly, to be honest, I think Solskjaer, okay, he's gone now, but he should have been fired a long time ago. Carrick, McKenna, Phelan, all of these
Mm,
guys should leave the club. When a new manager comes in,
yeah.
there is no sense in keeping the same staff. And if you look at there's a video that Fabrizio was on Rio Ferdinand's channel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was an actual, I think, a section of the video where they talk about the manager situation, and Fabrizio actually says that the players are unhappy with the current coaching setup. They don't see the point of getting rid of Ole and keeping the rest of
Mm,
you know the coaches there. Makes no sense. So for me, look, the club have made a statement stating that he's gone on his own accord.
yeah.
He's decided to resign, but I think there's more to it. I think he's been forced out of the club because I think the managers, obviously the managers come in, spoken to him. Manager said, "Look, this is the way you're going to play football. This is what you're going to do. You're going to work under me."
Mm,
That's the end of that. And maybe Carrick
mm.
has probably decided, the best thing for him to do is to part companies with the club, take a rest, and then see what happens. But for me, I think the more pertinent question is Chai, Mike Phelan and McKenna. I think Phelan especially, I am sick to it. I think he should leave because he does no
Um,
coaching. He sits there on his pants. Sometimes he's yawning, sometimes he's sleeping. God knows what he does. But I think he needs to
uh,
go.
I have a feeling. I think. Look, it'll be a good opportunity for McKenna to develop, and I'm with you with feeling right. McKenna
Mm,
is a young up and comer, right? At the end of the day, look, and it's a hierarchy, right? Whether you have a manager, you have a set of coaches under you. None of these coaches were good enough. They don't come with credibility. They haven't achieved anything except for Phelan, who was under Ferguson. Now, maybe he's outdated. Maybe his beyond the point. But you have to understand that when a new manager comes, he has his own preferences, right? He will have a say. The unfortunate part is this Ralf Ragnick is an interim coach, regardless
Mm,
of which way you see it. In everybody's mind, he's interim. He's going to set ourselves to get a new manager, whether he's going to take over more director of football kind of role or how it eventuates, we don't know. So it becomes very difficult and uncertain in the long term future of the club, right? I'm hoping this is a foundation, and I'm hoping it does well. When look, we all know assistant managers and assistant coaches can only have an opinion, but they won't have the final say, right?
yeah.
As with any hierarchy, as with any hierarchy. So whether it was Carrick's fault, McKenna's fault, or the whole lot's fault, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, it's something that we can put behind ourselves right now, right?
Mm.
At least for the time being,
But
and look forward to. Mhm.
one thing I'll say though, at least Carrick's done the right thing. He's
Hundred
decided that
percent, hundred
his
percent.
time's up. So
Yeah,
for that, I have a bit more respect for him.
absolutely.
He's bowed down and he's gone
Yep.
gracefully,
Hmm.
and he's decided that he's taken the team as far as he can,
Yep.
and now it's up to the new manager to yeah coach the team.
I mean, he's the only manager in the record where he comes in, wins all the three games, and goes away. He has 100% record. He's never lost.
He's not lost. Yeah, crazy.
Crazy, but it's good on him. It's good on him. It's really good on him.
Hmm.
I really appreciate it. And I think we came very close to losing today, and luckily enough, we just kind of scraped through. But on to more interesting topics. Ragnick,
Hmm. Yeah.
what's your opinion?
Look, I've got some interest. Like, I've just been looking at the quotes, which basically came out an hour ago. Um, so I'll just read out some of the quotes, and I'll get your opinion on it, right? So the first thing it says is the major target for me is to bring more balance into the team. We considered two against Arsenal, needed three to win the game. It's just too much per game. My approach to bring more balance, more control to the game. What do you think is talking that? Do you think he is saying we're too offensive minded, or do you think
I I think, I mean, going by previous discussions that he's had with the media and the way he's coached the other teams, I think his point was probably more, was just my interpretation of a statement, right? I think he's talking about how we keep the ball more efficiently. I think that's
yeah,
what he talks about. And if you're out of possession, how do you win it back as efficiently as possible? I think
yeah,
that's what he's talking about. Because if you keep the ball, opponents don't score. And
yeah,
man, look, I think he's going to rip everybody a new one if he could. Huh?
yeah? Look, I want to see what happens in the training ground. So apparently today they have their first training session. Be interesting to see what happens there. I think there'll be a few players who are unhappy with this whole situation.
Setup. Yes.
Yeah, but I think players like Van der Beek and Lingard will be, probably eyeing their chances up in the first team.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, it's going to give us a bit more competition in the team. No more favoritism, Chai. No more
Hopefully,
Rashki, Greeny.
Carrick.
People. Yeah, it's all it's fair
Where is
game.
Greenwood? Is he still injured? Where is
Greenwood
Cavani? Is
apparently
he?
Cavani is injured. Greenwood had COVID. Who else is out? That's about it. I think. No, anyone else?
No. I
No.
mean,
This is Ahmad was on the bench. We didn't
Ahmad
come
was on
on.
the bench.
So yeah.
Dude, what? Yeah.
And you know
Rashford
what's
would have been.
yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Go on.
Rashford
Sorry.
should
Go
have
on.
been sacrificed, Chai. I mean, he's look, I don't know
He's a
what it
shit
is, right? Because he's really it's not okay. Initially it was it was his end product that we used to complain, but he was always pressing, the effort was always there. But
Yeah.
just today, like there was no effort. He didn't press the ball, he didn't
No.
close down his opponents. The end product was shit anyway. Like he
No.
just offers nothing down that line. For me, I would have preferred to take him out, bench him.
I'm
But
going to say
anyway,
something
yeah, tell me.
but you know where these players like Cleverly, Welbeck, he's heading towards the same direction.
Yeah.
When Welbeck first came onto the scene against Ferguson, and it was an Arsenal game where he scored, I think, uh,
Mm,
in that 8-2 win. I think he opened the scoring for us against Arsenal a while ago. But
yeah.
where is he now? I mean, is this heading in that direction? I mean, I like Rashford. I think he's a quality player, but I don't think
Yeah.
there's been any development since the last 2 years for him. So he's stagnated as well. Coming back to the
Yeah.
more pressing point about Ragnick, I think you're
Yeah.
right. There will be a few unhappy players, but you know what? I think if he imposes the system, we'll see a lot more injuries this season than initially expected.
Yeah. Here's another quote that I really like. So it says, it's about winning
Okay.
games, and
Mhm.
in the end, I'm very ambitious. We want to make the most successful season that is possible. Right now, we have to be realistic. The difference between us and the top three is big, but let's see. So basically, look, it might just be words, but I actually believe that he still thinks there's a chance to challenge those top three. And maybe, in his mind, what we played, 13 games now, 14 games, how many
Mhm.
games? So we played one third of the games this season. There's still two thirds. And, as we get into the Christmas break and after the Christmas break, games come in thick and fast. So maybe there's an opportunity where, the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, and City, slip up, and then there's an opportunity for us to kind of close that gap. Um,
Look, there are a couple of things, right? So I'm more worried about City and Chelsea than I am about Liverpool for two reasons, right? They don't have a big enough squad of City and Chelsea. They don't have as big a squad as expansive a squad. And African Cup of Nations will come. These guys will go. So
or
there'll be a
Liverpool,
period.
Mane and
Liverpool,
Salah. Yeah, that's
correct.
true, true, true.
So when you think about all of that, put things in perspective, the weakest Liverpool will be is during the time of the African Nations Cup, right? And that's something
Mm,
that Klopp, if I can think about it, Klopp's already thought about it, right? I mean,
mm,
there's always that thing in place. So I have a feeling I hope it's not just words, and I hope he puts some structure and put some rigorous training in place for us. Even if we can mimic what we do in training on the field, that'll be that'll at least show there's a foundation, right? I
yeah,
look, you and me, we know that this season is written off. Realistically,
mm,
there'll be an FA Cup, probably. I don't know. Challenge for top four, right? Basically,
yeah,
that's the realistic,
yeah,
I guess, outcome that we'll hope for.
yeah.
But
And but you know what, Chai? Even okay, this you said that he's a transition manager, right? He's going to be there for 6 months. But there was a part in the transcript of the press conference where he actually says, "Look, what the club has offered me is a 6.5 month contract to manage as
mhm.
an interim manager. But should there be any other discussions outside that scope, I'd be
Mhm.
happy to listen to it. So potentially he could be there longer than the
Look, there are two things that I think we've done really cleverly, right? Not the player, but decision making. Um, in a f- in a way that I think we've given him a short term contract
mm,
to evaluate how he performs. We'll
mm,
know in the first 1.5 months whether he's all talk or there's some substance to what he says, and there's obviously substance that we've proved in the past. But what I'm trying to say in this scenario, in this context, will his philosophy work, and how much
mm,
of that will the players accept, right?
yeah.
And it's a good thing that it's only 6.5 months because we can always reevaluate it 6 months later. It, Same thing with Ole. I hope just we go on a ten game run. I hope these guys don't renew the contract then, right? Not the same mistakes as we made before. I just
No.
wish it's like, okay, you go on a bounce, 10, 15 games, there's a structure in place, we're attacking, we're good, everything looks rosy, and then they give them a contract, they sign it, and then things go pear shaped, right?
We jumped the gun,
Look,
Chai. We jumped the
we
gun
jumped the
already.
gun with Ole, but look, there are a lot of players on the fringe team. I think will just now get attention, right? Okay, no, carry on if there are any other pertinent
Yeah,
players
look,
that.
there's one more. Let's just want to spend time. it was talking about the game. So where was that? Hang on. I'm trying to find the quote. So there's one quote where he actually says he's watched, the previous games. Okay, so here it is. So I've watched United's games against Watford, Chelsea, Liverpool, and City. I'm pretty well acquainted with what's going on at the club. I mean, from an outsider just looking at the transcript, it's clear to me he knows we're shit. The coaching's been
Yeah.
shit. Um, like he's got to change things quickly for me.
Dude, he doesn't have to change anything drastically. He just needs to put a fucking system in place. That's all we need from him. That's all, right? Realistically,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this multiple times. We have a squad that should typically challenge for the league, let alone the league, the Champions League, right? We
Mm.
have the we have the bloody squad. We're a when it's quite funny. When the season started, we said we're a defensive midfielder away from winning the league, right? We are a okay, we're a N'Golo Kante type of player away from winning the league,
Sorry. Yeah.
right? It's just how do we go from there to can we finish top four? Because everything has been shit, right? Anyway, we'll see how
It's,
Pogba reacts to it. We'll see how the divas of the United squad react to it. Divas, no offense, okay,
uh,
divas or the um, I don't know what you call the blokey
you
equivalent
know,
of diva, but
Chai, actually, is one other thing I wanted to ask you. I don't know if you saw the okay after the full time whistle blow. You know how Bruno was embracing Carrick at the end.
yeah.
I thought they were actually going to make out in the middle of the field. Like, it's like, I mean, what's
Man,
wrong with
this Bruno,
this
I
guy,
tell
man? Bruno
you,
is a bloody
man.
drama queen. He is so dramatic. I mean, dude, you just he's not your lover for God's sakes. Like, it's just a
Yeah,
man. You do. I just think, man, sometimes he's just got to just relax a bit and just
yeah.
like,
You saw his interview as well. They asked him about Ronaldo and stuff like that. He said
oh, did he? I
some.
didn't read. What did he say?
He's like, oh, what do you feel about Carrick leaving? And he's like, oh, it's a great manager. It's sad to see him go, whatever nonsense. And they asked him about Ronaldo scoring his 800, 801. Do you think this was? I think the exact question that they asked him was, do you think he had a reason to put on a stellar performance today, considering he was dropped for the Chelsea
Hmm.
game?
Hmm.
He's like, what, a player like this doesn't need motivation. He's self motivated and stuff like that. I was like, just calm down, calm
Yeah,
down,
just calm down.
calm
Just
down.
calm down.
The
You're just
last
worrying
time
about
you,
your game.
yeah, the last time you scored a goal, man, was against Leeds when you scored a hat trick.
Yeah,
Apart
yeah,
from that, you haven't done shit this time, right? And
yeah. He's
and it's quite worrying, right? Um,
I don't know, man. I mean, for me, look, like I said, right, the players I think with who are going to have the biggest impact, I think Fred. I think players like Rashford, I think is he's going to do really
I think
well.
Sancho, dude, not Rashford. Rashford's.
Sancho, yes, Chai, but also Rashford, I think.
I think
Because
he'll
look
play
at,
a different type of football. I think he'll probably play the ones that I think will read quick passing and movement. So I
you think
think
so?
you're right. Yeah, I think so,
Mm,
dude. I have a feeling at least when we have the ball, I think it'll be really quick one touch passing and stuff
yeah,
like that, which we haven't done in a while, right?
yeah,
So it'll be players like Van der Beek, Lingard, who find spaces, who go into those spaces. It's just about who he can develop and how quickly the players respond to him. I think that'll
yeah,
be driven by two things. And we'll really know what Martial and the fringe players are made out of in the first few weeks because it's a clean slate, right? Nobody
yeah,
nobody is a favorite, nobody is a definite, right?
yeah.
It'll be motivating these players and finding the right solution to the problem that we're having right now. I think it's just that.
Mm. I think, yeah, for one, look, I'm happy to give all our players a clean slate. Okay, because
Yeah.
Ragni could come in and say, look, Maguire is the best defender I've ever had. McTominay is the best holding midfielder, better than
Yeah.
Kante, and maybe Martial is my Ballon d'Or future Ballon d'Or winner or whatever it is. So
Correct.
you don't know the system he plays. like he's going to pick the right players for the system he wants to play. And I'm sure
Correct.
for the players who don't readily fit into the system he has, I'm sure he can work on their game to
To
make
make
them
sure
fit into the
that
system. Yeah.
correct.
So I'm just happy, Chai, because we've got a manager now who's got a clear philosophy, idea about how he wants to play football, and
Man,
the
we've
communication.
been.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a skeptic. I know what you're going to say, but I'm a bit of a skeptic. We said that about Van Hal, and that turned out like such a drab fest, really.
Yeah, but okay. Yes, you're right. There is some concern there, but I think now the club understands enough of this United DNA bullshit. Chai, what they've done is they've given him a 6-month role
Yeah.
and promised him a 2-year consultancy role.
Mm.
Okay, you don't promise someone a consultancy role without giving them some power to shape the club. Okay, Murto has high regard for him. I think Fletcher has also got high regard for him. So I think in terms of the working relationship, there is somewhat of a working relationship there to
Mm.
kind of work with what the Glazers want. I think when
Yeah.
Van Hal came in, he was just too abrasive, and there was no one there to kind of be the middle person between the Glazers and the manager. But now I think with Murto and Fletcher there, people who know about Ragnick and the work is done at Red Bull and Hoffenheim, I think
Mm.
that gives him that will basically make it a bit more sustainable in the long run. I'm hoping. I want to
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. No, look, it's all valid points, and
Yeah.
only time will tell. Look, I want to see how people respond to him, like in the next few days before the Crystal Palace game. That'll be a good game to kind of
Mm.
see
I
what it's all about.
Do you really think there's going to be much changes? I just don't. It's just too soon, Chai. I mean, how
No, I
much
don't
can you
see.
actually train?
Look, I don't want to see. I don't expect to see us play like Liverpool. But what I
Mm.
expect to see is the intent to play like Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's all I want to see. That's all
Mm.
I want to see. And
Mm.
if he's making big calls, then I know this manager is there for the long term, right? If he
Mm.
says, "Look, Maguire, based on your past performances, or not even Maguire, let's keep Maguire out of it. Let's say because you've performed so well, I want to bring you in the team. Let me find a
Yeah.
place for you." Things like
Mm.
that. If he brings in Van de Beek 55 minutes above or 60 minutes saying, "I want to see how you play." If he makes those changes, right? Today we made our first substitution 70 minutes when Arsenal had
Yeah.
already made two, right? And what
Yeah.
was our first substitution? We bought on Lingard, right? Uh, the substitutions have had to be made before. If he comes in and says, if he's going to, let's say, Fred's having a stinker, then he says, "Fred, you're off, man. Halftime. You know what?
Yeah.
If he's making those decisions, I just want to see the intent. I just want to see
Mm.
how influential he's going to be, and
Yeah.
people start respecting him for it, right? You've had a
Uh,
shit game. I'm going to take you
yeah.
off.
Yeah. I personally think he's going to have an
Mhm.
impact immediately. You don't need to wait for the next 5 games. I think if Crystal Palace comes, he will be making his point across to the entire team because
Yeah,
too far too long, Chai. There's been favoritism. There's been like a buddy like system
system
in
in
the
place. Yeah,
team where
yeah,
everyone's happy to play with each other.
yeah.
That's not wrong, but anyway,
No,
what
no,
I'm trying
but
to what I'm trying to say is, this favoritism that has been brewing in this team for the longest time, it's got to stop.
Mm,
People like Rashford, if you don't play well, sorry man,
yeah,
you're on the bench. Bruno,
yeah,
you gotta don't play crazy passes,
yeah,
control the ball, hold the ball. Like, if you don't do that, you sit on the bench.
yeah.
So for me, I
Exactly.
think I think for I think we'll see better performances out of people like Bruno,
Yeah.
people like Rashford.
I think more accountable performances, Gary. I don't even want to
That's the
see better
word.
performances. More accountable performances. Say, you know what? If you're not doing well, I'm going to pull you off. So next game you
Yeah,
improve. So at least
yeah.
there's a incentive for people to improve. If you keep
Mm.
playing the same players, regardless of what happens at the end of the day, you never know. I'm very very curious, Gary, to see the starting lineup against Crystal Palace. I think that will tell a
Yeah,
story in itself, right?
I I
That'll
I
tell.
I I am too. I'm looking forward to that game so much. With the new, see what
When is the
happens.
game?
I think it's
It's
Monday
on.
morning, Jai. Fuck. It's some 1 o'clock or some shit like that. It's
It doesn't
horrible,
help being in Australia, right?
dude. It's horrible. It's horrible. But
Anyway,
yeah,
yeah. On that
so
note, look, we've it's a 40-minute show. It was good.
yeah,
Lot that we went through and discussed, and then I think we're more in and hope right now. There's a new, I think, rekindling of hope, I guess, to see what happens in the future. I think a lot of United fan base will be feeling the same thing. Crystal Palace will be an important game, and we'll see how
they're a
that
bogey
goes.
team as well. So let's see.
Up, yeah, that doesn't help, right?
Yeah,
There'll be Wilfred Zaha who turns up like he's prime Ronaldo, and there's
Wilfred fucking
something.
Zaha, dude, that guy.
Was
But yeah,
Townsend playing for Crystal Palace before he joined
yeah,
Everton?
yeah.
That guy, no matter what. There are
Townsend,
these
he
players,
was.
Townsend, Selby, there's like these characters who pop up against United and then they're just so pain in the ass over the
Yeah,
last
it's
7
just in
years.
their DNA to score against United. I don't know, for
Yeah.
whatever reason,
I'm ready
they
that
can.
Shelby guy. He
They
wouldn't fucking touch the
Shelby
ball.
fucking scores every fucking time we play against them,
Oh,
and yeah, like
lucky
I
he
mean,
didn't score against the Liverpool game. Man. Sorry, the
I,
United game. There's a Newcastle game.
I think, look, for me, look. Final words on Ragnick. I think we've got to
Yep.
be patient with him. We've got to
Yeah.
be patient with him. I think what I'm expecting more than the results, I want to see good performances. I want to
Yeah.
see where I want to see us play in a clear system. I want us to defend a lot better, and I want us to attack as a team.
Yeah.
That's the thing. No more. Rashford go down this blind alley and try to dribble past 5-6 players.
Yeah.
Pass the ball if you can't. Like even today, there were so many occasions where he would just run up to a point where he's cornered and there's no options.
Yeah.
Like he's got to learn to pass the ball, look at different options, and take your time.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm sure we'll see a better performance against Crystal Palace.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
On that note, guys, you know what? It's been a week where we look forward to more games coming up, right? And this is the first time since uh, probably the start of the season with Ronaldo starting that we've had this, I guess,
Yeah.
curiosity or not curiosity. It's just like
I'm
it's
just happy. I'm just
happy,
happy.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So thanks for tuning in, guys. It was good. We'll see you after the
Crystal
Crystal Palace game.
Palace.
Until then, this is Chai with Gary.
Get it.